Let's finish up our category screen by adding in our list of expenses down here. We're going to write a function called buildExpenses, and we want to put that right under our container, but inside the column widget. And now at the very top of our category screen state, we're writing the function buildExpenses, and we're going to have a list of widgets called expense list. The idea is that we're going to loop through our categories expenses, and then we're going to append a container widget to our expense list. And we do this by doing widget.category.expenses.forEach expense, and then expense list.add. And now inside here, we want to return a container. We see that this container is going to have centered alignment. It also has the same box shadow we always use with rounded corners. And then the child of the container will be a row with 2 text widgets with space between. So let's align the alignment to center. We'll set the margin edge insets dot symmetric, horizontal 20.0, vertical 10.0. We'll set the height of the container to 80.0, and then the width will be double dot infinity. For the decoration, we'll do box decoration, colors.white as always, border radius dot circular 10.0, and then as usual box shadow colors.black 12, offset 0.2, and then blur radius will be 6.0. And now we get an error here because we didn't return anything in buildExpenses. So right after our forEach loop, we want to return a column widget. And that column widget will have the children expense list because that's a list of widgets. Now if we hit save, we see that we have our containers appearing. Now we can add our row widget in. So the child of our container will be a row children. And then just like in the image, we'll have 2 text items. Text expense.name, style text style, font size 20.0, font weight, and we'll make this one bold. Next we have another text widget. This time we need to use some string interpolation. So we'll say negative, and then escape the $. Expense.cost.toString as fixed 2. And remember to close off the curly brace. And after that, we'll style text style, font size 20.0, font weight .w600. Now if we hit save, we see that our 2 text widgets appear here. And let's change the color of our expense cost to colors.red. And then to get the spacing between our item number and the expense, we can just add it into row right here and say main axis alignment dot space between. And that's going to push them to opposite ends. And then the last thing we have to do is add some padding around our widgets. So if we hover over the row, command period, add padding, we can do edge insets.all 20.0. And instead of 20.0, let's actually use 30.0, so we have even more padding on the sides. And now that's looking pretty good. Now we're all done with our simple budget app. If we hot restart the app, we get new values in the weekly spending and all of our categories. We have a bar chart that shows us how much we spend on a weekly basis. and then 6 different categories where we can see the remaining amount of money we have for each category and how much we started with. And then based on how much money is left, we show a different color. And if we click on any of these, we see that the bar accurately represents how much money we have left, and we have a list of expenses down here that we can scroll through. In the event we actually spend too much money, we can simulate that by changing the max amount of food to 150 and hitting save and hot restarting the app. Then we see that for food we spent negative 170.55 cents out of $150. And if we click on this, then we see that the bar turned all red to show us that we overspent. And then in the event that we only spend a little less money, in this case we overspent $11.10, then the bar only goes over its original starting point by a little bit. So we can hot restart the app again. And we'll see that this time we overspent $65. And when we go into it, we see that the bar goes about a quarter of the way backwards, and it's still red to show us that we overspent.